Welcome to my channel Excel is Magical. In this video of Excel Beginner to Expert series part 2, you are going to learn the following topics: data entering and editing basics, understanding different types of data, entering data into a spreadsheet, and basic formatting. If you are new to Excel and you're watching this video without watching part 1, I recommend you to please watch part 1 and continue here. Let's continue our learning from where we stopped in part 1. Let's start a new workbook and start learning how to enter data in it. To start a new workbook at any time, you can go click on File tab. Within File, you find New Command. Click on that. When you click on New Command, on this area, you find a New Workbook option. So you go click here. You got a new workbook now. The other way to start a new workbook is by using a keyboard shortcut Control and N. Let me close this. So if you want to start a new workbook, you can press Control N. So this is the shortcut to start a new workbook. Now let's learn how do we enter data in Excel. Let's imagine you are entering something in a cell C3. So you first go click on that cell. Once the cell is active, you can start entering in it. Let me type MS Excel. You observe when you start entering, you find a cursor or the insertion point while you are entering. If you want to accept this, you just need to press enter. And in case you are typing something and you don't want to accept it, you just need to press escape for this. If you want to edit an entry which you have done in a cell, you just go to the cell and double click on it. Just go here and double click. So you get a cursor, you get the insertion point back, then you can continue with whatever you want to enter. This is one way. Other way to edit is you can also go to this formula bar. When you go to formula bar, it shows the entry which is there in the cell. You can go click here, change this to whatever you want. Let me just type hyphen. You could see that hyphen appear on the cell as well. And if you want to accept it, just press enter. And there's also another way, which is a keyboard shortcut. I recommend you to get used to that. Just go to the cell and use the keyboard shortcut F2. See, the moment you press F2, you get the cursor and you can start editing you want to do in that cell. So let me just type something here. And because I'm accepting it, I'll just press enter. And when you're learning how to enter data in Excel, it's always good to know how to enter different kinds of data like text, numbers, date, and time and all. You just saw how to enter text. Let me just write numbers. I'll write 1, 2, 3, 4 and hit enter. Did you observe something? When you are entering text, like let me just retype the text A, B, C, D, enter. When you write text in Excel cell, it will by default aligns towards left in a cell. But when you are entering a number in a cell, it did not align towards left, it aligned towards right. So Excel treats this thing separately. Remember, Excel is not only to enter data, to format and print. It's mainly a tool for analyzing. It's also used for a lot of calculations and all that, right? It has to treat all these numbers and all in a different way. And just like numbers align towards right, even the date and time also gets aligned towards right. And this kind of alignment is called as general alignment. Now let's see how to enter date in Excel. So I'll go to one of our cell, I'll enter some date. Now because my operating system is set to region India, and in India we follow date, month and year format. So I'm following the same format even in Excel. And what if I don't know what is my regional settings in my computer? I recommend you to check like this. Now because I'm entering 15th December 2014, so you could see my date got aligned right. Remember, a proper date only will get aligned right. If this was not a proper date, you could have seen this date aligned towards left. So I'll start entering December 1st, December 12th, and I enter date and I enter 2014. Alright, and I hit enter. This is on left, so this is not a proper format. So if it is on left, it is not a right format, it is junk. Only text will be left aligned. Numbers, date, time and all has to be aligned towards right. So take care of this. This is not a right format, I'll delete this. And also the separators between date, month, year also matters. For example, if I had enter dot as a separator, 15.12.2014, you could see it is on left. So as I told you before, Anything on left is not a right format. So I've seen a lot of people messing with their date format even in this way. I know there are some countries which follow dot as a separator. For example, if you have set your region as German, the default date separator for German will be dot. There it is fine. But here, as of now, I told you in my system I have set it as India, so I can't use dot as separator. I have to use either a slash or a hyphen. These are the only two separators which Excel will take for entering a date. And now if you are entering a time, for example, I'll enter INAME 9 colon 00. So if you are entering something without that text AM and PM, you don't have to worry here. But while entering, if you're using AM and PM, you should be a little cautious. Like for example, if you want to enter 13 hours as 1 PM, so you will be writing 1 colon 00 and a space and then PM and enter. So you could see this got aligned towards right. In case I had enter 100 without a space PM and enter, you could see this is aligned towards left. So remember, you won't be able to use this kind of formats which is on left, like this particular time or this date, on any kind of analysis later. Alright, now let's start entering some data into this workbook, somewhat like this. I will add a new worksheet now. So I go here. I'll give some heading to this data. I'll write my store stock. Alright, to accept it, I press enter. I'll just leave one row blank, go to the next row and type some column headers like item number. So from this cell, if I want to go to the next cell, I can press either right arrow key or a tab key. I'll write department here, press tab now, description, tab unit price, tab current stock, and press enter. So now when I press enter, you could see it came to the very first line. Now let me write one of the items details. I'll write item number first, say MS not 1, tab. Let the department be men's, tab. Description, I'll write M formal shirt, tab. I'll write the price of the item, let's say 1499.99, tab. In the current stock, I'll write 10 and press enter. Now you might be observing some data has been overlapped, right? Like when I wrote unit price, it has been overlapped on the description, but actually it is not. It is actually has come to a next cell. We'll fix all this little later. Give me some time. Let me enter some more details to this and then we'll start doing some formatting to this data. Now I have added some more data in this particular worksheet. Now let's use some basic formatting commands to make our data look somewhat like this Excel sheet. Now I want the header to come in the center of this columns, right? You can just select this data. You could now see I've selected cells A1 to E1 because my columns are from A to E. If my columns were till G, I could have continued till G1, alright? So let me stop till E1. Let us bring this in the center of this. On the home tab, there's a command merge and center. Click on this. Alright, so this came in the center. This column widths are not sufficient to fit the data, right? So to increase the column width, if you take the mouse pointer here on the column header, if you go to the border of the column, you find a double-headed pointer. Now if you click and drag, I will be able to increase the column width or decrease the column width through this. One way you can increase and decrease like this, but we'll not be sure whether are we fitting the entire data in this column in this width or not. So the ideal way here is go to this border and do a double click. Double click will ensure that the entire data in this width will be fit. Same way, let me go to column C, go to the border of this and do a double click. And if there are multiple columns, you don't have to do this technique for an individual column. Let me undo this process. For undoing, I'll press Ctrl Z. I'm back to how things were before. If there are multiple columns, you need to just select all the columns. How do we select the columns? You go on the column header where you find this arrow pointing down. Click on it. You selected one column And for selecting multiple columns, I just click and drag when all the columns are selected, and then go to the border of any one of the column and then do a double click. So you will see all the data is visible clearly inside all the columns. Now let us change the font to something else. I'll go to Home tab. In the font group, you have the font option here, right? So let us just go use this drop down, change it to something else. Say for example, I'll pick Arial, right? And if you want to change the font size, next to font name, you have the font size option. I'll just change this to 12 and I press enter. I want the header of this data to have a little bigger font size. So I'll select it and I change this to say 14 and I make it bold. I click on bold. Let me fill this cell with some color. For that, I'll use this command fill color. So I choose a different color for this variant of orange. Let me pick. Let's do some formatting for the column headers now. I'll select only the column headers. Let it be bold. Let us align this center. So for alignment, you have an alignment group. You have align center command. I go click on center. I'll give some background color for this again. Fill color. Give some lighter color for this. If you want to give the border only for this data, select all this data by using a shortcut Control A. The border option you will find in the font group. You will have this command borders. You need to click on this arrow here. You find various options for giving borders. Right now I'll use this all borders option. Let's also do some formatting for these numbers which are in the column unit price. As this is currency, let me put currency symbol to it. So I'll just click on this cell D4 and pick the entire data. One way I can just drag it, or I can also use a keyboard shortcut Shift Control down arrow. Alright, and to see the beginning I can press Control backspace. For adding currency symbol, you need to go to number group. In number group, you find an option or a command accounting number format, where if I just go click directly, as my setting is set to India, so you could see the rupees currency symbol has come there. If you want something else, you can use this drop down here next to it. You can change the currency to whatever you wanted, like dollar, pounds, euro and all. And if you do not find your required currency in this, you can always go to more accounting formats. This will take you to this format cells where you find accounting again and you find symbols here. I can just use this drop down and choose my required currency format from here. I'll just keep it as rupees as of now. I'll just cancel this. Now let's say I don't need this decimal values here. For that, I can just again go to this number group where you have these tools, increase decimal and decrease decimal. Let me now use decrease decimal to remove the decimals here. So I just click once, twice. So this decimals have been removed now. That's it in this video, and in the next part, before we continue with formatting where we left today, I'm going to cover topics like navigation techniques and selection techniques. Because as we move forward in Excel, we should know quick and best ways to navigate and select data on Excel sheets. Please watch this video to get more familiar with these techniques. Thanks for watching this video and hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, give a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel Excel is Magical and hit that bell icon to get notifications when I put on new videos. See you in my next videos.